Hey guys, welcome back to another Flesh and Blood video. So today I'm going to be playing more Control Dash. I know I've said this a bunch of times, but I'm still going back and forth between Icelander and Control Dash for what I want to play at ProQuest season. I'm leaning more towards Icelander, but this is one of the upsides of playing Control Dash. This matchup, like this match that I'm about to show you guys, is excuse me. I feel like it's a pretty good representation of how the Control Dash and versus Dromai matchup goes. As Control Dash, you have 9 poppers and you have a Remembrance, so you basically have 12 poppers, given the circumstances. So, I don't know, like, it feels like you're a little favored. Not super, it's still a close matchup, but you definitely feel favored as a Control Dash player. So, I like the matchup a little bit, and here's a little bit of insight onto how I feel about it. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Against Dromai. Definitely going to go first, in hopes that we can... so that we can get... in hopes that we can get an extra item into play. The earlier, the better. Let's see. So we want Skullcap, we want Tunic, we want Accelerator, and then do I want? I don't know. I probably want this just to block something with. So we're gonna bring in the Remembrance. We're gonna bring in the Command and Conquers because remember, like we have 9 poppers in the deck, but Remembrance basically gives us 12 if we can survive long enough to get there. So I don't hate doing that, and I think being able to gain life puts us in a pretty decent situation because they will play more offense than we will. So early game they'll play more offense than we will anyway. So they'll put us in a spot to pitch heart and do all of our things to gain some life here. Let's see, things that I don't want. I need all of my blues. I think I can cut some of the defense reactions. I can probably cut 2 Fate Foreseens. Well, I'll have 3 Sinks, a Fate Foreseen, and then I'll also have 4 Oasis Respite. I think that's fine. I think we'll try it and see what happens. So, I mean, this is obviously very good. We get to put a popper back into our deck. So that we're already preparing for second cycle, and we get to arsenal a sink below here. And like arsenaling a sink below is fine because they do play things that make us want to block. Like Kaloria is a really good one to block. Yeah, I mean I'll just take 1 here. Like I think that's a point we can give up here. Ooh, they're playing Crown of Dominion. That's interesting. I haven't seen anybody doing that. I'm a little intrigued by that. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and pop this. I mean, we have 2 more Ashwings to deal with, which we can try and kill later. I need to go ahead and get the other chamber into play right now. I think that's our best bet right now. And we'll pay 4 into this. We'll go get our last chamber. And now we're setting up the board pretty early, which is where we need to be, because we need to be able to keep the board as clean as possible. We'll go Remembrance and then Oracle, because the faster we can find Remembrance, the better. Because we will definitely go through our poppers pretty quickly. I mean, having 9 lets us space them out quite a bit and play a little bit of a slower game. But being able to set up early like this is very advantageous for us. Erase Face. So we can go block Sift and sink below. I almost want to sink one of my cards just to try and find another item. Put cards, I mean, just seeing extra cards is always better. I also like This Round's on Me here because it just shuts off their Ash Wings, but I also it's probably just better to kill Ashwing, and then hit them for 4, if I had to guess. So we're going to go ahead and kill an Ashwing. Give go again. Doing everything we can to keep the board clean. Kill an Ashwing. Give go again. We're going to reload the pistol. We're going to go ahead and spin Tunic, and then we're just going to come in for 4 at our opponent here. I mean, if they take 4, like, I'm also okay with that because we're just putting extra pressure on. Any damage we can do to them early in the game is better for us because it's more pressure. It's more of a life total swing, and having the life total stay even is an important part of this matchup. Yeah. The first time they pop Mage Master Boots is it's like 90% of the time it's going to be to play Toma Fyendal. I have seen somebody pop Mage Master Boots to like put 2 passing Mirages into play, which can be obnoxious because it is something that we have to deal with. The cool thing about the Dash deck and the way it's set up is that all of the blue attacks are 2 for 4s, except for like Zipper Hit. I think there's blue Zipper Hit in the deck, but a lot of the blue attacks are 2 for 4s, so I'm able to just throw them at like Mirror Guy and like other dragons, and it kills them. So that is pretty convenient. So like earlier in the game when like we only have 1 Purifier and the pistol isn't completely set up to be able to just pistol away all of their stuff, we are in a pretty decent spot. Sunkiss is also very, like, all the life gain that you get from this deck. So like after playing Magic for years, like, you know, life gain wasn't great. It did have its advantages because your life total is a resource in every game where you have a life total. But we'll block 3 here. But it feels like it's a lot more relevant in this deck or in this game than it is in anything else. Like, gaining life is so good, and I really enjoy that aspect of the game. Like, just gaining life in general is, like, really good, in my opinion. So, I like keeping our hand here because we can Arsenal the Sunkiss. We can Arsenal the Sunkiss here, and... Okay, well, that's one that's going to have to get blocked. I honestly, part of me wonders if we're gonna have to kill Caloria, so we can pistol 3 times here. So if I go Skullcap and pitch Sunkiss to block with Ironhide Gauntlet, we cover up Caloria, and then I get to pistol away both of these things and leave them with an Ashwing. I like pitching the Sunkiss here because later in the game, it's extra life gain. It might not matter. We might be in a spot where we're just putting on the pressure. So that might not be super relevant there. We're going to kill Caloria. Reload the pistol. We're going to hit Necria. I mean, killing Necria does give them a lot of Ash, so that is a little bit of a drawback, but I also think it's necessary with where we're at. Like, keeping their dragons off the board is, like, extremely necessary in this matchup. Also be nice to see another popper. I mean, there's 8 in the deck, and we have used 1, put 1 on the bottom, so there's 7 left that we get to see. So this isn't really a blocking hand. Like, they're playing Azraeli here. I mean, like, pitching Healing Balm to play Oasis Respite here is just bad. My Sigil of Solace just negates the Azraeli here, so it makes me pretty inclined to just take that. Now, the Enderai is obnoxious. Yeah. I mean, blocking with the Healing Bomb is not good because that's below rate. We're blocking 2 damage when Healing Bomb gains 3, so we're giving up a point there. Like, we're just gonna have to try and get, like, lucky with some busts here in the next couple turns. Is honestly about all I can say about where we're at in the game right now. Dust Up is very obnoxious. But so, I mean, this feels like a very good use of Oasis Respite here. So, let's use Purifier to kill Azraeli. We'll give go again. I could pitch the Sigil of Solace to gain, or to kill Enderai here. Gonna be honest, I actually think that's worth. Because this is continuing to just, like, let us keep stuff off their board, and that is very important. And we could have killed the Ashwing, but I think killing Enderai is just more damage. Okay. A popper is really good here. Finding Heart early is also very good. Like, Heart's one of those things you want to see as early as possible, because the earlier you see it, the faster you're going to find it on second cycle. Four, 5. So this is my 5th hand of the game. And on hand 15 is when we get back to pitch stack. But I did shuffle a little bit, so that's not always going to be, like, the most relevant factor to count in. Like, so pitch stacking is great, and you should always pitch stack and try to keep up with your opponent's pitch stack if you can. I'm going to be honest, I'm not really at a point in Flesh and Blood where I can optimally tell my opponent, tell what my opponent's going to draw a win. That's an extremely high skill level thing to do. And honestly, it impresses me when people are able to do it. Like, I think there's a lot to be said about people who are capable of doing that. So we gain a life off the heart. We load this. Load this. I'm gonna go ahead and dump the tunic resource. Like, it's very valuable to be able to use it like this. We'll give go again. I mean, our opponent can take some damage here because, like, they're up 11 points. So we pitch this to load the pistol, and then we play this and we pass. We're now we're in a pretty decent spot. We're only down 8 life. Drawing back-to-back busts here. Two busts in one hand is a little scary. Can be a little frightening. All right, so let's see. We pitched one, and we've seen 2. So that's 3, 4, 5, which means there's 4 left in the deck. So if there's 4 left in the deck, we can put this back in there, and there's 5. And this is the 6th hand we saw, which means there's 9 more hands to go till we hit pitch stack. So we're gonna Arsenal the Sigil of Solace because I think having a card in Arsenal gives a certain level of threat. So now we're gonna give go again. So we kill an Ashwing. We pitch this. We give this go again. We're going to gain 3 here, go back to 33, and then we're going to Arsenal the Sigil of Solace. Okay, Oasis Respite's not bad. The problem for Dromai is that we are equally as good as keeping cards in our deck and pitch stacking to have a favorable outcome later in the game as they are. Dromai, when a good Dromai player pitch stacks and plays very well, they do put themselves in a very good late game position. Now, it just so works out that Dash honestly puts themselves in a control Dash puts themselves in a little bit of a better spot late game. So, let's see, I forgot to fill out my playing Talishar, playing against Dromai, and I went first. Sweeping Blow, I'll block that with This Round's on Me. Pika 4I20 Stew, want to offer promotional viewers, followers? No, thank you. I don't pay for viewers. I appreciate it though. Yeah, so I'm just gonna take the 3 here, and then I can use one of my pistols to kill the Ashwing, and then I can use the other pistol to yeah, I can use one pistol to kill the Ashwing, and then I can use the other 2 to just go at them. I could pitch the Respite to send 8 at them, or I can send 6 at them. I think having the Respite in Arsenal is better than 2 points. Points now versus points later, I think is also a relevant thing to think about. And I don't think points now is I mean, I guess if you look at it in the sense of its points now, I mean, so like, let's think about this now. It's 5 points later. It's 5 points. So it's an extra 2 points right now, and then when I have it later, it's worth 5 points. So it's worth 7 points if I pitch it. Or I guess if I pitch it, I'm spending a card for 2 points, or I'm leaving this in my arsenal for when I need it for 5. So I think my original math is correct here. That it's better to arsenal this card. I'd rather serve 6 here, gain 3, and if they take 6, it puts us at 32 all, and then I have an Oasis Respite in my arsenal. So I think that puts me in a pretty good spot. Now, I do have 0 items loaded going into my next turn, so that can be a little scary, because sometimes against Dromai, you do want to set up a little bit. Yeah, we'll make it 32 all. I have 4 items in play, and it's tied at 32. Like, obviously this isn't, like, stone solid, but I would say that we are a little ahead. Hi, Taryn. Come here. Little Taryn decided to come out today. She was laying under the bed earlier. Hi, sweet kitty. What are you doing? You come down here to have a midday snack? Huh? Did you get hungry? Asvali, okay. So, I'm actually, if they attack with the Asvali first, I'm going to take the Asvali and then pop the... Enderai, because I'd rather kill the Asvali. I'd rather kill the Asvali because it's only 1 attack. Plus, this gains me a life off of blocking, so it's all around more value. I know, sweet kitty. I know. Who's your sweet baby, huh? Who's your sweet baby? Taryn's my little buddy. When I'm at home, we always hang out together. I have to say, one thing that I don't like is having to click through everything. Like when I have Respite, I have to like just physically click through everything an extra time because I have an instant. Now Tunic also does the same thing, so... Yep, we'll attack Asvali, we'll kill it. Oh, yeah, no reactions. Load the pistol... Shoot you for 4. I'm just going to go ahead and use my Tunic resource here again, like, to load up, to keep everything loaded. Nope, no reactions. The more things I can keep loaded, the better. I would rather pitch like a red card or do something with, to play my Respite if I need it, than I would to like sandbag my Tunic until I use it, because I was listening to, I can't remember if it was Arsenal Pass or MNR, and they were talking about how sitting on your Tunic resource is actually losing you value over the course of time, and I think that's a very accurate statement. Now this hand is ungodly awkward. Taryn ate some plastic last night. We were a little worried about her. She's been acting a little weird this morning. So this is one of those situations that I think it's okay to play my Sink Below, even though it is 1 less point. I can play my Sink Below, put my Foreseen on the bottom, and try to find a blue here, which I like. And that's exactly what we did. And so now I have a blue to kind of make my turn work. I can 9 my opponent with the way my board is set up, or I can 8 them, and I either get to 8 them or I can 9 them. So if they play a Mirror Guy here, it actually works out for me to... Ooh. So... Target Mechanologist pistol. So this loses all types. So I pitch Command and Conquer to Oasis Respite, and I'd block with E-Strike, or I can just block with a Bust here, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I think this is better than the alternative line because I'm missing out on 2 points with Respite, 1 point actually on what I'm defending, and the other point on not gaining a life. Mathematically, it's better to 9 my opponent here than it is to 8 them. So we will be doing that. I put my hoodie on and the heat kicks on. Now it gets hot in here. It's always how it goes. So my opponent has a couple of turns of taking damage like this if they want to, but they only have a couple turns of it because we were able to set up pretty early. So, like, if my opponent takes this, they're going to go to 15. Now, the Dominion doesn't block, and they can quell with Silken Form, but the Flamescale Furnace is really their only form of blocking here. 2 pops in one hand. That makes... I mean, I'm going to bust it just to bust it because I want that thing gone. So I hate that we're going to miss out on a point of life gain, but I think having to, like, just busting Caloria here is really good. My opponent actually made a very good play where they baited out my popper. They baited out my popper by playing Dromai because that is a very good target for me to hit. Alright, so again, I can 9 them, or I can try to set up just a little bit. I think setting up a little bit is better if I had to guess. So I can 8 them and leave a chamber loaded. Now, mathematically, this is worse than the other line of just 9ing them, but I'm also continuing to leave nothing loaded. And I like this because I get to leave a chamber loaded going into the next turn, which means 2 blues allows me to 12 them. Now, then I will have nothing loaded, but we're also like nearing that point in the game where they're really having to think about what they're doing. Like the sink below is going to like buy them like a whole pistol here, which is pretty good. But intuitively, I don't think sink belows are very good against dash because if you're playing Dromai and you're playing against an experienced dash player, they're playing the pistol package because Dromai just blocks well enough to fatigue aggro dash. I mean, like they could probably bring in like the chamber, like if you wanted to play aggro dash with chamber and the purifiers, like and try that whole package, you could probably try to make something happen. I don't know, like it might be okay. I'm honestly not sure. Yep, we'll just pass. We'll go Throttle, then Oracle. Like, the Spark of Genius here is cool, and, like, but I'm not super concerned with putting that into play. So I actually think it's worth blocking 3. I just completely did not read that, and that was my mistake. And so now that I have committed to blocking, I should have read my card. So in order to be able to keep my line, I have to use my Respite here, and I'll have to use my Tunic resource. Wow, that was a punt, but I still think it's correct. No, it sucks, but I made a mistake and now I'm going to have to pay the piper. It definitely would have been correct to block with the zipper hit and then just spark for the Purifier and leave everything set up the way it is. That was just a hard punt. Yeah, it was just a mistake. Oh well. You live and you learn. That's all I can say. It is something that I knew, but I just wasn't thinking, and I got myself. So now we're just going to shoot them for 2 because it's what we can do. Because this says target Mechanologist pistol, and so it's no longer Mechanologist. So we do have... I'm going to go zipper hit, spark, and then last ditch effort. Oh, cool. I get to try and draw some cards here, make a bigger play. I like that. I do have Tunic to use for Respite, so that's kind of cool. A slow punt cost us some life and a little bit of board presence there, but I think I'm just far enough ahead to where it doesn't matter, if you want the truth. So Dromai resolves. I'm just going to go ahead and pop it because Dromai is one of those ones that I immediately need to pop. And I have the backup of Tunic into Respite. So, plus, here in a little bit, like, I mean, sometime in the next 20 cards, I think we have a Remembrance coming up, and that's pretty cool. Being able to shuffle back in Remembrance. One of the only things that I truly worry about when it comes to playing this is, well, that's a pretty good one. One of the things that I worry about when playing this matchup will be time constraints. I get to banish a card from my hand. That's fun. Reveal Rake the Embers. Alright, so let's see here. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 2 left in the deck and a Remembrance. So I take my blue. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Respite this. Like, I don't see a reason not to. This will just save us life. Like, just saves us 4 life, and it's a good use of my Tunic resource here. Oh, they're going to gain some life. They have yet to do that this game, so cool. Good for them. I get to have nothing loaded here, but I do get to 12 them. Well, I guess I get to kill Dominion and 8 them. So, load the pistol. They can just take 8 here if they want, but I feel like that's bad for them. Normally this matchup does not go this well. I don't get to set up as early as I did this game. Like getting a Purifier into play on the first turn of the game, on like turn 0, and then having the second turn of the game, it was the second or the third turn, be putting an extra chamber into play. Like, That's like very, very good. So they take 4. They're going to take it again. I mean, I'm just going to Arsenal this. Like, there's like almost a 0% chance that they're going to like do anything to get rid of that. Now, Vincerikai. I mean, so this would just be like a 12 damage turn. So I would go from... Or... I mean, I could kill it. I could kill it, pitch the sink below to do everything, and then 8 them. And then they might have, like, do they have a third erase face, or is that just 2 they've played? No, it's all 3. I mean, I guess they could have a Command and Conquer there, but, like, do I really care about that? I honestly think I'm just taking 9 here. Load this. Load this. We'll go ahead and kill Vincerikai. Like, they are at 6, so, like, us attacking them, like, me being at 15 and them being at 6 is probably just enough wiggle room for me to be able to just pistol them out the rest of the game here. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that feels like where I'm at. So they're down to 5. They could take this if they wanted to and go to 1, but that feels like a very poor way to manage your cards and your turn as a whole. Alright, well, I mean, I could be wrong. Like, they could have a hand that says they should keep everything they have here, but again, I doubt it. So, considering that they did that, it makes me think that they have a Respite. Or a Sigil, I mean. Yeah, so they go to 4. Like... So they're just negating my last Sigil of Solace. If they have something here, I can pitch my Purifier to play the Oasis Respite. Because I'm not really interested in... Pursuit of Knowledge is cool, but not cool enough. Especially not in this situation. Again, pitching the Remembrance where we're at in the game is a little dangerous. I mean, I guess there are 2 more poppers left in the deck, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so there's 2 left in the deck somewhere. So... I think it's safe enough for us to do it. And I can leave 2 things loaded with the... Having the yellow and having the Tunic resource allows me to leave 2 things loaded. And I get to 12 them here. I, like, we're at that point in the game where I think the game's pretty much over. Like a sink below would be good for them here because they could cover it up. They could cover up an entire pistol for one card. But most of the time, like we're gonna, if they block for 3, yeah, so if they block for 3, from every hand they have, then they're going to end the turn at 1. But because they're able to throw Furnace, and they have another 3 block here, like, so this puts them to 3. Load this. Load this. Use Tunic. Load this. And then attack them for 4. So they can throw a 3 block here and go to 2. And then they have 1 card in an arsenal. We're going to go Remembrance, Payload, then Whisper. Here's the Sunkiss that I pitched. Kind of wish I had a kind of wish I had a popper here because I would pop the Dromai in a second. But I mean, we're taking 6 here, so I'm gonna go to 9. Unless they have another 0 cost in their arsenal. Which, like, is very possible. Like, they could have an Asvalai here. And if they have an Asvalai, then, like, we probably would have had to have considered what was worth what. So I honestly think this Rounds on Me is very valuable here because, well, no, we don't want them drawing an extra card. We're going to attack them like they can block here, so they can pitch a blue and quell, and then they can block with the other cards in their hand and quell some more, like and stay at 2, and then they can attack us for 4, which is probably one of their best plays. They decided not to take that route, which means they're going to have to block with 2 cards here. Or now they're going to quell and they will have missed on a point. They will have missed on an opportunity, and they will miss out on a point there, miss an opportunity to have an extra point. Oh, Sigil. Okay. I mean, I was not planning for that, but it is it's good enough for them. Now, they're not going to get to keep their last card either unless their arsenal card is a sink below. If their arsenal card's a sink below, then I was like, they get to keep this, but if not, they're going to go to 2 here. Doesn't really matter. We're going to arsenal the Sunkiss here. Yeah, they're going to attack us for 4. Gonna go to 5. Yeah, I go to 5 here. We'll pitch this. Yep. I mean, it's kind of inevitable at this point. Like these are like the garbage like turns where I'm just like trying to get through the turns of the game to end the game here. Now, like we have to be a little considerate of the Dromai here, because we are at 5, and the Dromai being on the board does just allow them to attack for 4, basically at will. So pitch the throttle, load back up, And then I'm going to pitch the Healing Balm here. We'll keep it in the deck. And then I'm going to attack them again. Now, they're going to stay at 2. And then they're going to make an extra Ashwing here, which is fine. But now that line is off the table. We go to 8. We draw a Popper. Get that thing off the board. We'll go to 7 here. And, I mean, unless they have a sink below or something, like, this should be the game. Because they're forced to block with 2 cards. They can block with 1 card and take 1. Yeah, and they realize the writing's on the wall there. Okay, game time 43 minutes. Okay, so I did say that was one of the things I was worried about, was the run time and how long games would take. That's one of the big things I am worried about playing Control Dash going into ProQuest season is So I'm using this game as an example of how I feel like the matchup should go from the Control Dash perspective, because you kind of see all the key elements of what Dash wants to see. We use all 9 poppers throughout the game. We use the Remembrance to play 3 to get 3 more back. So we actually play 12 of them, which is really good. We have early items set up, and we have some very good defense reaction situations where we get to stop big on hit effects like Dust Up, Caloria, things of that nature. So you really see all the big aspects that go into the game and how, how you really want this matchup to go from the Dash side. So I don't know. This game felt pretty good. My opponent felt a little inexperienced as Dromai, maybe into Control Dash. They were inexperienced. They threw a lot of their dragons earlier than they should have. So one thing about that could have happened is I could have gotten punished for trying to pitch stack my poppers because my opponent did play them early. Me pitch stacking them could have put me in a bad spot early. A lot of good Dromai players won't play a ton of dragons early unless they're forced to. They'd rather keep them for second cycle and try to overpower you that way when you only have a few poppers left in the deck. So I felt like this was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. If you guys got any questions or comments, hit them in the comments below. And if not, I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.